Are you afraid of dying? Be honest. Does it sit in the back of your mind when the house gets quiet at night? Does it whisper to you when you feel a pain in your chest or watch someone you love grow older? I am 108 years old, and when people ask me if I'm afraid to die, I have to smile. Being asked that at my age feels like asking a traveler who has walked 100 long miles if he is afraid to finally sit down. My body feels like a coat I've been wearing through every season of life, a coat that has grown heavier with time, thicker with memories, stiff in the sleeves from years of reaching, holding, working, loving. Every morning I wake up, and it feels like someone gently places that coat back on my shoulders. I button it with these hands that don't move as quickly as they once did. I shuffle to the kitchen. I make my tea. I carry the weight of a century with me from room to room. So no, I am not afraid of taking the coat off. Some days I glance at the empty chair across from me and think, maybe it's almost time to hang it up. You see, the reason you are frightened is not because death is terrible. It's because your music is still playing. You are 45 or 60, maybe even 75. There are still plans in your calendar, calls you mean to return, places you hope to see. There is still hunger in you. But my celebration ended years ago. I am simply the last guest tidying the table. My husband Thomas has been gone for 4 decades. 40 years of reaching across a bed that feels far too wide. My son Daniel, buried long before a mother ever should have to say goodbye. The girls I used to laugh with on dusty summer streets, gone. The neighbors who knew my maiden name, gone. Sometimes I feel like I am walking through a town that only I remember. The bakery that used to stand on the corner, the oak tree that shaded our porch, the sound of my mother humming in the evenings. All of it lives inside me now. So when I speak of death, I do not speak of leaving home. I speak of going toward it. I imagine Thomas pacing somewhere, checking his watch the way he used to when I was late for supper. I imagine my sister Clara rolling her eyes and laughing. I imagine familiar voices calling my name the way they did when I was young and strong. That does not frighten me. What frightens you is something different. You believe death is a thief. You imagine it sneaks in and steals your time, your memories, your future. You see it as an interruption, as something unfair. But at my age, I no longer see it that way. Death is not a thief. It is more like a librarian. It does not snatch the book from your hands without warning. It simply steps beside you and says gently, "It is time to return what you borrowed." And here is the truth most people never admit. If you have truly read your book, you are not afraid to hand it back. If you have cried over its pages, if you have stained it with coffee and tears, if you have folded the corners and written in the margins, if you have loved deeply and forgiven clumsily and tried again when you failed, then when the time comes, you are tired in a peaceful way. But if the book has sat untouched on a shelf, spine unbroken, pages crisp and unused, then yes, the thought of returning it is terrifying. That is what people are truly afraid of, not death, regret. Let me pause here, because this matters. Listen closely. The fear you carry has very little to do with dying. It has everything to do with whether you have allowed yourself to live. My soul is not neat. It is not spotless. It has been cracked open and mended more times than I can count. I have made mistakes. I have lost my temper. I have loved the wrong people. I have forgiven slowly. I have held grudges longer than I should have. But I did not stay closed. I said I love you when it felt awkward. I apologized when pride burned in my throat. I danced in my kitchen with no music playing. I wore colors people said were too bold for a woman my age. I ate dessert first sometimes. When Thomas and I argued, we argued fully. And when we made peace, we did that fully too. There is another thing you worry about, the pain, the ending, the way it happens. Let me tell you something that might ease your heart. The body is wiser than we give it credit for. When it truly reaches its limit, it does not shatter. It softens. It quiets. It slows the rhythm. I have watched it happen. When Thomas took his final breath, I was holding his hand. His eyes did not fill with fear. They widened, yes, but not with panic, with surprise, as if he had just stepped into warm sunlight after bracing himself for a storm. His face relaxed. A small smile found its way there. It was the expression of someone who realized he had been worrying about the wrong thing all along. I cannot tell you what he saw, but I can tell you it did not look like terror. That memory lives in me like a candle that never goes out. Now let me be clear. I am not telling you this so you rush toward the end. Quite the opposite. I am telling you this so you stop postponing your life. If there is someone you need to forgive, do it. Not because they deserve it, but because your heart deserves to be lighter. If there is something you long to try, begin clumsily. If there is a truth you have swallowed for years, speak it gently. Do not wait for the perfect season. There is no perfect season. At 108, I can promise you something. The years move faster than you think. One day you are carrying children on your hip. The next you are holding their children. Then suddenly you are the one being helped down the steps. When you finally stand at the doorway, between here and whatever comes next, you do not want to be turning your head backward, whispering, "What if?" You want to face forward and say, "I gave it my whole heart." These days I tire more easily. Conversations take more breath than they once did. My steps are small. My world is quieter. But my heart is not heavy. When you hear that Eleanor Grace has passed, I do not want your tears soaked in sorrow. I want you to smile. Put on a song you love. Cook something sweet. Tell a story about someone you miss, because I am not disappearing. I am simply laying down a coat that has done its job. And you, my dear, you still have yours wrapped tightly around your shoulders. Wear it boldly. Get it dirty. Let it carry the scent of laughter and effort and love. Stretch the sleeves. Patch the holes. Make it unmistakably yours. And when your time comes, many years from now, may you hang it up with the same calm I feel now. I will see you again someday, but not yet. Take your time getting here. There is still music playing for you.